Hello and welcome to PAXTON Road TV. I am Sam Spurs for Life. Apologies if it was a slight day on the stream. This is your PAXTON Road TV reaction show for the game that's just finished. Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2 at the City Ground. And I'm joined in the house. Here we go. My fellow compatriot from PAXTON Road TV, Spurs. Can you all right? Just making sure my levels are okay. Is it good?
All good. All good.
All good. All good. Let's get the banners up and let's talk about the game. So before we start the stream, make sure you like the stream, make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Look out for us on Twitter as well, Sid Spurs and Sam Spurs for Life. That's right. Okay, so let's start. Positives, Sid. Positives. We won the game. We're unbeaten this season. 4 games in, that's 3 wins and a draw. And we've got decent, last 2 games clean sheets. That's the positives. In terms of possession controlling games, we can look at that and think to ourselves, do we need to have the possession of the ball? Do we need to have control of the games to necessarily perform to win? No, we don't. We all know that. But over the long term, this is my view, if you don't control games, if you play this counter-attacking game and it doesn't always work out and teams then get an opportunity, if Forest were better in that final third, it could have been a different story. Would have been then had to play a different game. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'm glad that we can be defensive. I'm glad that we can play like how we do and win games, having not played fantastically well since probably the 20 minutes after the first half in the game against Southampton. But as I said, 3 wins, and so far we have a draw. So your thoughts?
Listen, as long as you get the 3 points, you can play the most entertaining, flowing football, win a game 1-0, or you can just play not to your potential, not on firing on all cylinders, and still win 2-0 and miss a penalty. But the most important thing is we're unbeaten and another 3 points in the bag. We went to Nottingham, and the prince or the king of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium stole the 3 points from Nottingham Sheriffs and the Forest, and we're back to London with 3 points. So, you know what? You're going to get games like this where you're just not going to be at your best. But as long as we get the 3 points, man, that's all that matters.
Yeah, like I said, I got a few comments written down. I'll try and take a few notes of the game. And, you know, it's we kind of, you know, when we had Jose and what's the other bloke's name? I keep forgetting his name now. The old Nuno, the old bearded fella, the one who's got a grayer beard than me. When Nuno and Jose played a similar style of football. Let's not get it twisted. We played a defensive counter-attacking style of football, maybe not as efficient as this one is, but it was certainly a defensive type football. We weren't controlling games. We weren't the team that had more than 50% possession. And even though when Jose we were doing well, we got to obviously the League Cup final. We were decent in that campaign, I guess, into Europa League position. I think which was probably right for us at that sort of time. The style of football is, I guess, this season, at this moment in time, obviously we know that we've scored the most goals since the turn of the year. That might slightly change now. But is this concerning you that Forest just seem to have more energy today? They just seem to have more energy in getting to the ball. They play the same system as us, but I saw the little tweets. Jesse Lingard was coming into midfield, that Johnson was coming into the midfield as well. They were making sure that they were getting around our players, and our players just seem on the back foot a little bit. Does that energy thing kind of concern you, or did you not see that today?
You was going to get that from Nottingham Forest, weren't you? They're at home, they're playing Spurs. They've not played us for, 25, 30 years. And we discussed this yesterday. They're a group of players, 18, 19 of them that haven't played together. And to be fair, I think they're all playing for their spots. They're all fighting to stay in that team, you know, trying to be better than the other. So you're going to get 100%. And especially against teams like Spurs, City, Liverpool, they'll come at them. They'll come at all the teams. It's just going to be a matter of whether the likes of us lot, Liverpool's, Man City's, can break them down, and how quickly can they break them down, and then can they score as many goals? I mean, on another day we could have had a few more, but you're going to get that because it's like, you know, like youngsters when they just so eager to do everything and they just want to go. And that's what they'll do. That's what they'll do, you know. But I don't know. I think like I said, I'm not overly excited with the kind of football that we're playing at the moment, but it's getting us the 3 points. So
Yeah, and to a degree, you know what, Sid, I can kind of accept having an away performance. Like, you know, if you played the bigger teams, the teams that you expect to be dominant at home, the likes of Liverpool, the likes of City, Arsenal, Chelsea's, you put other teams in there like Crystal Palace, etc., etc. But what I'm thinking is Forest have just come up in the division, and
yeah,
yes, I expect them to be the home team and try to be the ones that go for it, and I expect them to. But then I expected a little bit more, possibly respect for Spurs, and they might think of sitting back and maybe seeing how we play. That didn't seem to be the case. It almost seemed from the start that they had a plan. Right, we're going to press them as much as we can. We're going to try and be high energy, and we seem to have a bit of a plan. Okay, we're going to lose the ball. We're going to get back into our 5-4-1 shape, and we're going to break from there. We had opportunities to break. Don't get me wrong in terms of that style of football, but is that the style of football you want to be seeing against Nottingham Forest? That's what I'm asking.
yeah. I think we discussed this as well, and we said this. Conte's just got the one plan, hasn't he? And everybody knows that plan now. Everybody knows the Tottenham plan. This is how they're going to work. This is how they're going to play. These two are going to be here. This is how the defense is going to be. They're going to rely on counter attack. Let's go and nullify that and play our own game. And we've 4 or 5 games in now, and we've seen the same. It's not changed. The personnel are not changing. Everything seems to be doing the same. Substitutions are not changing. They're coming on 65, 70 minutes. So, you know, it's everybody knows the tactics. I think anyone at grassroots football will know now Tottenham's tactics. And unfortunately, Conte's not going to change them tactics. And the good thing about it is, I don't know if you can see it as a negative or a positive, is we're not changing our tactics, but we're still getting results because he's still getting the results with them tactics, other teams knowing the tactics, and then the substitutions are coming on and making a little bit of a difference. But let's see. And, you know, when we play City in a couple of weeks and Arsenal and that, whether that actually tactics is going to work for that full 90 minutes.
Yeah, let's have a look at the stats to see if our eye test is kind of different to what the stats produce. Because sometimes when you get the stats, you think, oh, maybe I was looking at something that was a little bit different. Maybe I didn't quite look at the game in that way. Maybe I'm just looking at the negative side of things all the time. But to me, I just think it was a case of, I don't think we looked like we were in control of that game. So maybe we were playing on the counter attack. Let's have a look and see. Well, in terms of possession, you can see the 55% possession to Forest, 44% to us. Shots on target, and this is where Forest obviously failed. And I said this in the previous show, and I think we were saying that, you know, Forest hadn't scored many goals, but they hadn't conceded many. So we didn't expect them to come out once we got the first goal or even 2 goals. I knew the game would be over. So 7 shots on target to us, 17 shots in total into our 18. Total touches, 740 to them, 635 to us. Again, suggests that they're in possession based. 557 passes to our 448. Take what you want from that. 21 tackles to our 13. Again, take what you want from that. But it seems like a team that's more energetic and wanting to put in a little bit more tackles to get the ball back. Clearances, 7 to our 24.
24, wow.
There you go. Clearances. Now, on another day, if you don't make those clearances, if they get another opportunity within the box, you know, it doesn't show how many touches they had in the box, but they were getting into our area. That could be a different story. And as I said, it could have been so different. It could have been from a 3-1 to them. It was 1-0 to us. Yellow cards, 6 to them, 1 to us. Again, look at it in 2 different ways. Aggressive. We're not aggressive. You know, we're not. Anyway, 11 fouls conceded and 13 to them. Yeah, your thoughts on that, Sid? Because eye test, those stats test, that tells you a different story. But the game was 1-2-0.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm sorry, but Shakira said hips don't lie. In this case, the stats don't lie, do they? And they've obviously had more possession. 24 clearances against a team like Nottingham Forest. Yeah, where they've only had 1 shot on target. Okay, them clearances could have been, like you said, inside, outside the area of the box, inside or whatever, nowhere near a goal line or whatever. But still, 24 clearances. They had more passes than us. They've had more touches than us. But you're going to expect that going to a club like Nottingham Forest at their stadium, because they're going to, like we said at the beginning, they're going to be well up for it. And we're the kind of team that will allow them possession. But it's what you do with that possession. And they didn't do anything. So it's a positive in a negative. So it's
It's true. It's so true. It's so true. It's when you say that, it rings sense, and that positive is that again. When you look at the season, we are unbeaten. I can't remember how many games it goes back to now, but it's quite a few games since the back end of last season. Obviously, that run that we got up to the Champions League, and now going into this season, I think we are, as a fan, we're always greedy. I'm going to be greedy. I want to see good football. I also want to see winning football. Sometimes you don't always get both. Is it better to have winning football or good football? Obviously, people who win things want to say winning football. Then there's got other fans that say, and I'm going to use Newcastle as an example. In the past, it's about how they play. If we win something, great, but how we play is important to them. We've kind of had that in Spurs in the history previously. There's a way of playing that we want to see. And I guess we have to now, as a fan, think, right, it's different now. Conte is a winning manager. He don't care how he plays to win, I don't think. Obviously, he would like to play well, but it don't always work out like that. So, yeah, the next home game is going to be against Fulham.
Yeah.
Do you think we need changes in this team now?
Listen, there's a certain everything you keep asking me a question, it goes back to a song, doesn't it? Unfortunately, but everything changes but Conte. You know what I mean? Take that song about it, and it's so true. Everything changes but Conte, because we've said it week in, week out. Right now, it's 4 games. Am I right? 4, 5, 4 games.
What, 4 games into the season? 4 games in now.
4 games in. Son's not firing, and everybody saw it today when he got taken off. Yeah, he was muttering and he was not happy at all. So he's having a proper dip in form, because there was a few instances there where there was balls played where on another day Son sprints, he gets the ball. I think he's so hell-bound on scoring, he doesn't see what's ahead of him or simple passes. And we've seen a few times. Well, not a few. Last game he was a little bit disappointed, but today the actual camera panned on him and he was not happy at all. So now that's the situation. Do you now say, you know what? Okay, just take a seat back now, and we'll put in Richarlison to start the game? Yeah, just give him a breather. Or do you still carry on with Son and say, no, you carry on. Your goal's gonna come. And I know what the answer is to this, because Conte's already said it, that it'll come. When it comes, it's gonna come. But how long do you give it? How long do you keep giving it? Maybe there is a certain point where you think he needs a bit of a rest, but it's not going to change.
Right. So this is how I'm thinking about it. Sometimes you have to think the player deserves to be given his opportunity. Son, top goal scorer last season. He was high on the assists as well, has been for a number of years for us. So he has credit in the bank, as they say. So you got to give him a little bit of leeway for that. But I remember was it the middle part of certainly in Kulishevsky's late part of the season. So maybe like March, April time. Kulishevsky, who was playing well at the time, had a bit of a dip in form. And do you remember he got taken out of the team? He got replaced by, I think it was Lucas in the game. I can't remember which game it was. Kind of like a bit of a kick up the arse. It's kind of like, hold on a minute. I know you're good, but you're not that good that you can just keep playing and not play well and not contribute. It worked. It got Kulishevsky back playing, and we all saw what happened at the back end of our season with the players that we had. I'm thinking to myself, that's what I would want to do with Son. Not to say that Son is not a player that he should be, he's not playing well, drop him, but it's almost like, okay, just take you out. I just wanted to see if there's a reaction from him. If he starts to sulk and moan, then right, well, that's not the attitude. Kulishevsky come back and did I'm going to prove you right. So yeah, play Richarlison. But the problem is, if Richarlison then comes in and starts banging them in and starts really contributing, then what?
This is it. This is what I've said, and Son is the type of player that you don't want to, take him out, because on his day when he delivers, and when he delivers, he will go on the street. But the guy is struggling. The guy is struggling at the precise moment. His confidence is low. He's trying too hard. So, it is what it is, unfortunately. And at some point, you're gonna, because now, after the Champions League run, that the games are gonna come thick and fast, and he's still not producing. Say in another week's time, like West Ham on Wednesday, and then Fulham again. Then you know what? He's got a big question. He's got a massive question mark coming up, and like I keep saying to you, this thing that I've got in my brain that's racking my brain, right? It's gonna upset a hell of a lot of people.
Oh, I want to hear what this is, but we
I
can't
know.
hear yet. We've got to wait, haven't we?
No,
We can't hear
but
yet.
the more I'm watching, the theories in my head is piecing together bit by bit. So I don't know, but I don't know. I think he's just trying too hard. I think and I keep saying this, but I've got a funny feeling that Wednesday could be the one that kickstarts it again against West Ham.
Well, right, let's have a look at the league table, because I think then we can have a little bit more talk, because I want to just touch on that West Ham game as well. So league table at the present time, obviously them lot at top, 4 wins in a row, playing well. They've obviously come back from a goal down against Fulham yesterday, and so they deserve to be on top. Arsenal are playing good football. Manchester City, again, you can see that they're getting into form as well. So now it's those two, probably, followed by us in that position, then Brighton as well. So the teams that are in and around there, you're looking at Brighton, you're looking at Leeds. I know Chelsea's in and around there. You've got Newcastle United. So not the typical top 6. This is where you've got to take advantage of it at this sort of moment in time. Liverpool had been struggling, but they got a 9-0 win. They ain't going to be struggling at the moment after this. So Manchester United got a bit of a resurgence. They've won 2 games on the bounce. Again, they're going to be going, I think they're playing Arsenal soon, aren't they? Is that next weekend? I'm not sure.
Next weekend, Man United, Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be intriguing to see what happens with that. But Man United are kind of, would you say back? I wouldn't say back, but they're certainly in a position where they can win games because they've got dangerous players. Yeah. We're putting results together. We've seen a little bit of faltering in Chelsea. We've seen a bit of faltering in United. We've seen that in Liverpool as well. Arsenal, Manchester City are not that. We are kind of like getting the points, but not looking great in the football. Put it this way: when we played Chelsea, we got a result, but we were lucky. Do you think now that we are going to see some changes? Midweek game, 3 days time, Conte can't play the same 11, surely.
I totally agree with you. Just before I continue, got 47, 48 people watching now, guys. Please, just every single one of you, just smash that like button and just smash it. 48, 47, 48 likes. Because you know what I mean? Likes is likes. Like it. Do you really like it? Is it wicked? I want you lot to be loving it like this. But no, seriously, Wednesday he has to make some changes. What's interesting for me was Spence came on today, which is I was quite shocked, yeah, because he's not been in the squad last couple of games, and today maybe because it's Nottingham Forest, and I sort of think it's sentimental, blah blah blah. For me now, I'd play him on Wednesday.
Yeah. Listen, I would as well. So I'll let you finish your point before I say my piece. Go on.
I'd play him. I'd play Richarlison, and okay, they've done really well in the middle. Bentancur and Højbjerg have done really well. But if Bentancur has concussion, which I'm reading someone's David Clark's just put in there, then I'd bring on Basuma this Wednesday, because West Ham is the kind of game where Basuma's kind of play will need, as much as how technical and how good player Bentancur is. If he's got concussion, then why risk him? Leave him, let him recover fully. We've got a man-made replacement on the bench, Basuma. Put Basuma on. So I'd make at least 3 changes for Wednesday.
100%. 100%. Well, if he doesn't, to me, there's this whole kind of makes a mockery of him saying certain things about the transfer window, saying, you need 2 players in every position, blah, 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 blah. I know the adage about the winning team. I get all that. You don't want to change a winning team too much. We've had to make forced changes with Herrera being out. And again, I'm going to touch on it. Sanchez played well today. I'll give him his credit. He's a player that I've ridiculed in the past. I said he's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. But he's trusted. Conte's trusted. He's not brought in Longley. He's not put in Tanganga. We had to see Joe Rodon go off somewhere else to get game time. It seems that Sanchez, whether it's left or right, is getting into this team. So there must be something about him that Conte's seen. But is he going to be the one that's going to be against the West Ham team? They've got some players. They've got Bowen, they've got obviously Antonio, all the rest of it. It's a different type of game. I kind of get a little bit concerned with that sort of level when he plays, that physicality, that having to deal with it. I know he's a physical player, but it does concern me. He gets messed around a bit. Who would you like to see come in if Romero's not fit? Would you want Longley to come in for somebody else, or would you keep the back three?
You know what? We've not conceded in the last 2 games, right? they've all three of them have had their moments. I think there was one moment where Sanchez got the ball at the back and he miscontrolled it, and then he tried to, and then we thought, here we go, Sanchez, just do what you bit. But then comfortably he just played it back to Lloris and then whatever. But if you've got three defenders that haven't conceded in 2 games, then technically you're not going to change it because they've got it together. They're playing decent. We've not conceded. Then why would you risk bringing in Langley? You know, because he brings in Langley and drops one of the players, and we concede and we lose. You know what's going to happen, right?
Oh yeah, I know. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So, in that sense, I don't think he'll change the back 3 defenders at all.
Right. So that's a good point. They always say when you've got a good back lineup, you don't really want to change your back lineup. It's one of them things you need to be very organized, and organization. You need the communication to come with that. So I get all that. So I don't expect the back 3 to change much. But for me, it's like, okay, when are we going to get to see if these players can actually play at the level that we want? Do you wait till like a cup game? But then if you want to win the cup game, surely you put your best team out. Because I think we're not. I don't want us to be in a position where we're saying, "Oh, we're just taking the League Cup for a granted." Man City don't. You know what I mean? They Liverpool don't. These teams want to go out and win this cup. So why don't we have the same sort of attitude? We're not up top of the league or winning trophy after trophy to say to ourselves, "Oh, the League Cup's that." I get it. You have to rest players and you play some other players. But when are we going to get to see whether these players? Basuma coming on after 83 minutes. What are we going to learn about him from at that point? Jed Spence, for me, that was just a kind of like, oh, Roger, you're in Nottingham now. Have a clap from the fans. He was. I could see there's parts where he was screaming for the ball, but the players are not playing to him because they don't know if he's not that he's not capable, but because he hasn't played enough, so they don't even know what he's going to do. His runs maybe not the same runs that they would expect from somebody else. The only way you're going to get to find out is if they play him in matches. Yeah. When are we going to find out whether these players can play? I just don't see enough time from Conte giving these players, like I said, you could bring Bissouma on after 65 minutes, give Hojbjerg a rest. We know he's at the same level, if not better, than Hojbjerg and Bentancur. But at Spurs now, we're waiting until the 83rd minute and keep Hojbjerg on. What's going on there?
You know what? I think we've been crying out for the last couple of seasons, right? And we've said this time and time again. You look at our bench and it's who? What? Nah, I'm not putting him in. I don't trust none of them. Now, if everybody on who's watching, listening, whatever, go and get the sub benches for this weekend. Look at Man City's subs bench. Look at Liverpool's subs bench. Look at our subs bench. Look at Arsenal's subs bench. And I guarantee you, we've got the best subs bench out of the lot, right? Because watching City yesterday and whatever, I was looking at City's bench and I'm like, who are half of these players? Liverpool's bench is not as strong. I think we've got one of the best benches going at the moment. And Conte has wanted that. And he said that all along. Is I want to look at my bench and I want to have players that I know can come on and do me a job. He's not finished yet because obviously there's a couple of 1 or 2 still coming in and going. But like for like, bench-wise, I think we've got the best bench out of the top 6, top 8 at the moment. So, which is
I agree with you. And if you think about it, who wasn't on the bench today? Lucas, Skip, Romero.
Yeah.
Them 3 would easily make the squad, I would imagine. Exactly. Possibly Lucas might have a little bit of competition with, but then we didn't have that many attacking players on. We had defenders. So I think the defenders that we had Tanganga on the bench. Who else did we have on the bench?
We had all defenders, didn't we?
Yeah, Bissouma. There was Spence was on the bench. Doherty was on the bench.
Foster, Spence, Tanganga, Saw, Langley, and Bissouma.
Very defensive bench. So put it that way. Had we conceded the first goal, we weren't looking to be able to turn it around very easily with those players. And this is what I'm saying. So again, why? We'll have to see what happens in West Ham. I'm not gonna say obviously Conte. You need to do this. You need to do that. How can anybody say that when we've won 3 games and drawn 1 and we are sitting 3rd in the league? But as a fan, and this is what I'm going to say, because people say, how can you be moaning about? I'm not moaning because we won. And I always say, winning over everything is what you want. You can play really good and not win games. You can play really poorly and win games. And that's more what I want to do. But it's concerning that we've seen the same sort of performances pretty much all the games that we've played, bar that Southampton game. So this is my little bit of a concern. Champions League, how's that going to now affect Conte's thinking?
It's going to affect it massively now because, like I said, we've got 9 games in October, right? Which is a hell of a lot of games. Wednesday, Sunday, or whenever it's going to be Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, whatever. And knowing Sky, they'll probably put us at 12:30 on a Saturday, right? Because they just love us that much, don't they? So this is now where Conte's really going to have to start looking at the bench and start rotating, because didn't he say yesterday as well that now he's going to have to rest Harry Kane at some point? Yeah. Now, we all know that at some point he has to do that. But going back to the original question, and we've said this time and time again before the transfer window started, the backup striker. This is where we need the backup striker. Okay, Richarlison can do the job, but we should have gone and got a backup striker, because if he's now turned around and said, I'm going to rest Kane, we haven't really got an out-and-out striker that can come in there, an out-and-out replacement for Harry Kane. So it's going to be very interesting, and October is going to be, well, even September is going to be a very, very telling month for Spurs, and especially Antonio Conte. That's why 3 days to go for transfer window, and things are going to happen. I think things are going to happen.
He said that and we've seen, I don't know if people have seen, but there's a Romario tweet out to say that Atletico Madrid have signed Sergio Reguilon. Gil's also looking to be out the door. Conte's made it quite clear. Any player that goes from this point onwards needs to be replaced. Again, there's rumours to say that if the Gil deal is done, that we're 98% certain of getting that replacement in. That's why once that happens, there should be a direct replacement. I'm assuming the same thing's going to go for Reguilon and any other player that goes out the door. We are going to get a direct replacement. So whereas we talked about on Friday that we might not have a bit of an end to this transfer window with any transfers, you never know, because if 2 or 3 players from our squad go out and Conte said what he said and we don't see replacements, that's going to be a big telling sign for me. Let me just read this comment out and then I want you to just comment on that, Sid. Zyron Attest is saying there can always be improvements on performance, but I do think it's slightly crazy that we fans put so much pressure on performance when the results are positive. Yes, it's a bonus to play well, but completely agree with that comment. Nobody can disagree with that comment, Zyron. No. But can you get away with playing like this 38 games? I don't believe many teams have won the league playing like that. I know Leicester, and someone put it in the comments, Leicester won the league with 37% possession, but they then had Jamie Vardy, who was like firing that whole season. He went 11 games without, 11 games consecutively scoring. They had a defensive solid rock. They were a bit lucky at times, obviously, we know that, but the other teams didn't play that well that season. If you really think about it, we were probably the ones that pushing it. We ended up 3rd in that time because Arsenal picked us because we just dropped off. What I'm trying to say is there's too many good teams now to play badly every single week and expect to get away with it in the Premier League. It ain't gonna happen. What's your thoughts?
No, I agree. And I think I said that at the beginning, didn't I? Performance doesn't make a difference as long as the 3 points are in the bag. You can have bad games, you can have good games, but what Conte wants, and I think if you ask Conte the same question, he'll say the same thing. As long as I get the 3 points in the bag, I'm not really bothered. Performance I can deal with. If certain players are not playing well and we still win the game, I'll have words with them and I'll say to them, listen, you need to up your game because we won today, but your performance wasn't good enough. And you know that. Players like Son know that. If Son himself knows when he's not had a good game, he's the first one. He doesn't need anyone to tell him you've had a bad game. He's his own critic. So it's good in that sense. And Conte will probably take him back tomorrow morning or whenever and analyze the game, and he'll tell the players, look, we've got the win, but still not acceptable. I need more. I need more and more. So, exactly what Darius is saying there. Or is it, sorry, Zero to test. That's Darius, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it is. Know. Is that you? Who are you? Take it off. Take it off.
Who are you?
Who are you? Yeah, but I think Conte's got a plan, and it's winning. It's a winning formula. He's sticking to it. So we've got to have trust in our manager. And you know what? I'm not bothered. 3 points is 3 points at the end of the day.
Yes, and that's again, people watching, because everybody gets. We as fans, we support the same team. We're not divided. All I do is division within any fan base. We are supporting the same team. I want the best for Tottenham Hotspur. I want them to win every single match. And if they were to play this badly and win every single match, at the end of the day, we win the league. I wouldn't be saying, "Oh, you know, that season that we won the league, it was such a terrible season. We played awfully football. It was." I'll be celebrating like it was 1999. But
you'll be celebrating like Arsenal yesterday.
But I think someone put a very good comment in there. When we just try and find it again, it was that Bangkok comment. It was something. It was really good.
Yeah.
You know, you can't keep playing like that, and you know the results. Bad performances and getting results is not sustainable over a long period of time, and that's 100% agreeable.
That one.
It doesn't. Yeah, that's the one. You can't keep getting results with performing badly. At some point, something's got to change. Sid, final thoughts then before we wrap this one up. Positives, negatives. Give me that. That's what I think. Give me the positives. Start with the negatives first. If you want negatives, a positive. Let's end on good notes.
Liverpool won 9-0 yesterday, right? We won 2-0 yesterday. Salah had a stinker yesterday, right? Missed 2 open goals. Son didn't miss 2 open goals. And, you know, he played all right, not as good as we wanted. Salah didn't score in a 9-0 win. That says it all for you, doesn't it? Right?
Yep.
If you can't score in 9-0 win, then there's a problem. Negatives, do you know what? I don't really see any negatives. The only negative I see is Harry Kane dropping me points on fantasy by missing that penalty and getting a booking, right?
Hey, let me just say one thing.
I don't want to say. And had he scored that goal, my prediction would have been right, not yours.
That's what I wanted to say. I knew you were going to try and steal it, but I had to just come out and say that, people. Let me just tell you this. If you go back to the preview show from Saturday, Moi himself called it. Yeah. I said the game was going to be a little. Hold on, let me say my little bit, because you're going to take up too much time and I want to get my little bit in. I'm going to say this, right? I called it. I said Forest are going to be a little bit aggressive because it's going to be the way they want to play. I said we're going to struggle a little bit. If we get the first goal, it's always going to be a 2-0. And I said Harry Kane was going to get a brace. Full points in the house, people. There you go, Sid. I'm done.
No, when he went 2-0, I just wanted the third goal because I just thought, you know what, Sam's going to go on and on because he's got the prediction right. Just get me one goal, please, just give me one. But never mind, it didn't happen. Still happy with the 3 points. You know, it is what it is. Positives, we won 2-0. We're unbeaten. Second clean sheet in a row. We've not lost to teams like Nottingham Forest, who's been newly promoted. Last week we didn't lose, so it's good that, you know, we're grinding out results. So positives are we're third in the league, we're unbeaten, we've got 10 points.
100%.
Long may it continue.
Definitely. Long may it continue. I think we just look at these last couple of comments. This one here from our friend Sean. Jose was all about capitalizing on opponent's mistakes, whereas Conte wants progressive, not necessarily possessive patterns of play. I watched Rome last night and it's night and day. Definitely is. I agree. Jose's got a different type of style, but it's still a more of a counter-attacking direct style. We have to look at this. We are not at this moment a possession-based team that keeps the ball for fun. We don't do that. Do you necessarily have to do that to be a good footballing team? No, you don't. You've got to be effective. Are we effective in what we're doing? I think we are, because we're getting the results. Our goal scorers are scoring in terms of Harry Kane. So we've got to look at them positives, and that's the positives to me. But what I think is a little bit more of a negative is that come the rotation, now we're expecting these players who just get put into the team just to be able to come in and play, because, you know, we have to make these rotations. We haven't seen enough changes to know whether or not they're going to just start. They're going to have to, because Wednesday, I can't see the same 11 starting. So are we taking risks by doing that? Or does Conte have trust in all this squad? Must do.
And we failed to mention, but I said, who do you think you are, Richarlison? Because coming on 70 minutes and doing that kind of shithousery where the man, do you know what? That's FIFA on PlayStation, isn't it? When you get the ball and you just stand there just doing your keepy uppies, right? That is pure shithousery, yeah? How dare you do something like that,
Oh
right?
man.
And then...
Yeah, go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, as an opposition fan, you'd be screaming at the TV, what are you doing? You whatever, bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah.
But as a fan with him playing in the team, I was doing this. I said, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And then to top it up, outside of your foot, what a delivery into the box for Harry Kane to put it on the plate, mate. Just put it on the plate, put your cherry and cream on top, and Kane just went, thank you very much. I'll have that all day long. So, you know what? The Richarlison, mate, you've got to give it to him. And I can't wait to go on his Twitter or what he puts out, because man puts stuff out normally, doesn't he? So,
yeah,
you know, you've got to give it to him, mate. That is just shithousery at his finest.
And he's going to make us become that team that everybody loves to hate, and I think that's good because Conte wants that mentality, kind of like that siege mentality that Jose had. I think Conte has that same sort of, right, we're in this together, and we're all soldiers in this. If one fights, we all fight, and that's the sort of thing I'm beginning to see.
100%.
Richarlison is slowly becoming my favorite player because of that sort of stuff.
Exactly. And if this was a tennis match, I hope it's not new balls, please.
He took about 5 minutes to fall over, didn't he?
He did.
Jamie Carragher don't like him. He's getting wound up by him, and I love it. I think it's great. Anyway, I think we need to wrap up there. That's been good, Sid. So yeah, thank you very much. What have we got coming up next? We're gonna have to see if we're gonna be able to. I might be able to do a preview show on the day on
Judge Jodi.
Judge Jodi tomorrow. So she's gonna be doing that for, I think, from 8 o'clock. But remember, we've got midweek games, so we're gonna have to see if we can get a preview show in there, maybe on the daytime on Tuesday if anybody's available, because I might be available to do that. And then obviously we see who's going to do the reaction show. But both those shows will be covered to Paxton Road TV. Then look out for, when is the transfer? When is it? Is it on Friday when it closes? 31st.
No, it's 3 days, isn't it? On 31st. So it's Wednesday.
Okay. So we might have to think about that. But that's the same day we play bloody West Ham. Oh, it's all too busy. It's all too busy. Anyway. We'll have something. We'll do something, or we'll see what we can do. Breathe. Thank you for watching Paxton Road TV. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and all the rest of that sort of stuff. Thank you for watching. Who we got in the house? Sean Hurl, Ken Amar, David Clark, Timo Football. Who else is in there? Colin Lumsden is watching us there. Lovely to see him. JC, David Clark, Zyron Attesta, Michael Bennett. Loads of people, so if I haven't mentioned all of you, but thank you for supporting the channel. Make sure you share this around, all the content, notification bells as well, and we will see you, well, we won't see you, but Jodi will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Myself and Sid will see you for the next transfer. We'll be saying Mr. Sid Spurs.
Absolutely.
And I think if I can find the right button to get out with it, that, my friend, is it. Take care. See you later.